is a production of the Department of Broadcasting and Journalism at Western Illinois University.
Coming up on News 3, one measure on the ballot this election makes history in a McDonough County town. We'll break down how. Also, you'll hear reaction from the winner in the 93rd state representative seat. Hear what they have to say to voters. And where does the presidential race stand following Election Day? That's all coming up now on News 3.
Live from Saline Hall in high definition. News 3 starts now.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of News 3. I'm Dylan Smith. We continue our Election 2020 team coverage after a big night of results throughout the area. McDonough County election officials are reporting a strong voter turnout despite COVID-19 concerns. Our crews stopped into polling places across the area, and officials told us they had a steady stream of voters coming in throughout the day. It was more than expected due to a lot of people voting early. McDonough County Clerk Gretchen DeJanes says more than 12,000 people voted. She says around 2,700 ballots were made and about 3,400 people voted in person. Overall, a 70% turnout from in person back during the 2016 election. And one of the biggest races on everyone's mind is the presidential election. News 3's Devin Brooks is here with the latest along with breakdown of other local results. Devin?
Dylan, 2 days after Election Day in the U.S., votes are still being counted, and the difference in votes grows increasingly smaller. The Biden campaign is ahead in the race to 270 electoral votes, and the Trump campaign is pursuing multiple legal challenges. No victor has been called in the U.S. presidential election yet as we wait for final states to be called. And the margin of votes separating President Donald Trump from former Vice President Joe Biden is razor thin in several states, every vote being closely scrutinized.
You can literally watch people count the ballots in Philadelphia on the internet from anywhere in the world.
In Georgia, the race is so close, things there could be eligible for a recount. By Wednesday afternoon, former Vice President Joe Biden had put 2/3 of the Rust Belt blue wall that President Donald Trump breached in 2016 back in the Democrats' column. The Trump campaign, meanwhile, announced legal challenges regarding absentee ballots and more access for campaign observers to ballot counting in Michigan, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. Democrats in that state see it differently.
Joe Biden's he's going to win the state. There's no question about it.
Trump hasn't spoken publicly since falsely claiming victory early Wednesday morning. He has since vented frustrations and made blameless allegations on Twitter, resulting in multiple posts labeled by the social media platform as disputed or misleading. Facebook is also applying labels to such posts. We were also watching closely the race for 93rd District State Representative Tuesday night. Republican incumbent Noreen Hammond won by a landslide, 64% to Democratic opponent Scott Stoll's 36%. Hammond now will take on her 6th term. And we were the only TV station at her watch party to get her reaction when the race was called.
I feel great. I really do. And I'm so appreciative of all of the folks across the 93rd District that have supported me, not just in this election, but in past elections.
Hammond says ethics reform is an area she plans to focus on in her next term. And one McDonough County town also made big news on election night after voting to overturn a ban that's been in place for decades.
It's great. We were surprised.
It's a surprise that's made history in town.
Now people can walk to the gas station and get their alcohol.
The city of Colchester is no longer considered a dry town after voters approved to allow the sale of alcohol.
With a big smile.
Randy Weir is all smiles because he went door to door to get the measure on the ballot.
Thought all the walking around town was well paid for.
It was back in 1973 when the referendum was last up to voters. That was the 4th time it was voted down. But this election, a different message got through the voters.
It was clear from what people were saying to us, younger voters, to vote no.
And now that the city has been given the green light to allow the sale of alcohol, the next question is, when can residents buy a cold one in the near future?
First, we have to go through the state and also make ordinances in town.
Residents like Anderson say they're ready for Colchester to reap the benefits.
Hopefully, that it's going to bring a lot of income back into Colchester.
The final vote was 408 no and 108 yes. Alderman Haynes says this will only apply to packaged liquor. In studio, reporting for News 3, I'm Devin Brooks. Dylan?
Devin, thank you. And COVID-19 played a big part in polling places taking extra precautions for people to vote safely. But our camera spotted a different story from the guidelines of the CDC. Instead of being at least 6 feet apart, election judges in the Macomb area were right next to one another and in one polling location crammed into a small room. We're told some voters refused to wear masks. Despite the requirement, one resident calls this unsafe, but officials say it's the voter's choice.
There are a lot of people who do not wear masks in this community, so it was pretty par for the course, but I really wish that the county would have done more.
We were told not to make, don't make an over issue of it because, get it over with.
The COVID-19 mitigation measures return as Region 2 has seen a 7-day rolling average of positive tests of 8% or above for 3 consecutive days. Now all 11 regions in Illinois are under the new regions. The bars and restaurants will also have to close outdoor dining by 11 p.m. each night. Turning to other news involving the coronavirus, Western Illinois University is keeping track of its numbers of COVID-19 cases on and off campus. But how accurate is its dashboard? Here's News 3's Kason Frericks with a look.
With many numbers associated with the coronavirus, it can be difficult to understand what they all mean. WIU has its own coronavirus dashboard, and they keep track of their numbers a certain way.
It's a reflection of all cases, all positive cases that are turned into administered through the university.
Joe Roselieb, WIU Executive Director of Auxiliary Services and Risk Management, said the university does not take in the positive cases from the health department because they would only receive the positive cases and not the negative ones.
If we only receive the positives but no negatives, it would skew the representation of that.
All positive and negative cases in the county are reported to the McDonough County Health Department from all the test sites in the area.
And we also get test reports for people who reside in the county but get tested outside of the county. So if we have a resident who goes to a hospital outside of McDonough County and gets a test there, that result does still come to us.
Because of these differences in the dashboards, the WIU dashboard shows 189 total positive cases on the WIU campus, compared to the health department's dashboard, which shows 318 total cases on campus. Roselieb said people can continue to look at the university dashboard, but says the county dashboard paints a more complete picture.
As we look at our campus, continue to look at that dashboard, but holistically look at the county dashboard.
Surveillance testing will continue on the Macomb campus until November 20th. Anyone who is not selected but would like to take a test is asked to call the View Health Center at 309-298-1888 to set up an appointment. In Macomb, reporting for News 3, I'm Kason Frericks.
Well, still more ahead here on News 3. Coming up next, as race relations remain in the forefront of society, one man talks to News 3 with a look back at his life and why he decided to make a change from the time he grew up. We'll have that story and more when we come back.
Live from Salee Hall in high definition. Live at 4 is back in a moment. Live from Salee Hall in high definition. Live at 4 continues.
Welcome back. One man sits down with News 3 after having a change of heart surrounding race relations. Here's the News 3 exclusive report you'll only see here.
Conservative. Brought up Republican. My father had a great attitude and great character except for that. And he was raised that way too. I used that excuse for a long time. I was raised that way.
The topic of race relations in 2020 has headlined the news since the passing of George Floyd. As the black community continues to fight against racial injustice, support has come from a variety of different ethnic groups.
1968 was one of the boiling points in the civil rights era as college students from around the nation protested war and race relations. Growing up in a largely Republican area of Missouri, Army and Vietnam War veteran Edward Martin encountered such issues, leading to a change of heart.
Protests were so in vogue, we had one or two a week in college. And I became familiar with classmates of mine from the area that showed up in college with me, and they started being interested. Everyone was active. So I became familiar with the American Civil Liberties Union at the protest. They were represented sometimes. And then I started going to Columbia with my friends for political rallies and information seminars. So college, I tried to be active, but didn't know quite how yet.
A few years after college, Martin returned to his hometown and joined a chapter of an established group.
When I was 26, I had joined the Ku Klux Klan chapter here locally. That was 1977. And it was kind of a hometown thing to do. The guys were all from my hometown. We all drank beer together and played baseball.
The KKK was common in Martin's hometown. However, prior to participating, he quickly realized how serious race relations were and decided to end that association.
That just didn't last. I didn't participate. I just couldn't agree with them once I'd gotten off the farm and saw something of the world.
Martin credits his children for educating him and steering him towards a change of heart.
We may have a chance here to bury it for good, to bury bigotry. Things won't work right if we carry on with this in-house bigotry in our country. Things won't work right.
It has been nearly 40 years since Martin experienced the change of heart and shows that with an open mind, both sides can come together. In Macomb, reporting for News 3, I'm Kennedy Williams.
And I'm Dylan Smith. Well, we're having unseasonably warm weather this late in the year, but how long will it last? News 3's Conrad Sapinski is here with what we can expect. Conrad?
Yes, we are experiencing very mild conditions for this time of year with temperatures around 72 degrees. Look at that. Partly cloudy skies. We do have a low humidity at 36%, and that's making it very dry, making it feel very dry and warm. We do also have a wind from south-southwest at 14 miles per hour with a little bit of higher gusts. And then talking about weather highlights, very important. Today and this week, we are going to have temperatures well above average, and then we are going to be warm even through the weekend. And then we also will be sunny and have very dry conditions with little precipitation until next week. As we can see, our average temperatures at this time of year should be around 57 degrees, so we're well above average. Even our low should be around 36, and tonight's low is going to be well above average with that. Current radar, nothing. We do have very clear skies, a little bit of clouds here and there, but most of the precipitation is out of our area. Looking at our visible satellite, you can see just a little bit of clouds within Macomb area, a little bit in southern Illinois, but that is no precipitation related. Our surface map, we could see just a little bit of rain down here in Florida, a little spotty showers. We do have a little rain, a little storm out there brewing in the west coast by Seattle and Portland. And that is going to head our way, but that would be towards the beginning of next week. And then our future radar, this is from today into Monday. You could see that we will be clear for most of the precipitation. And then on Monday, we are going to experience a little bit of storm, but nothing to really worry about for now. For tonight, Macomb, 50 degrees, very mild conditions all around with 52 in Beardstown, 53 down here in Springfield, very mild for this time of year. For tomorrow, same thing, very mild conditions, 72 in Macomb, 73 in Havana, look at that, 73 in Springfield as well, and then a little bit warmer in Beardstown with temperatures around 74 degrees. And then let's talk a little bit about tonight's weather here at Macomb. Temperatures will be around 50 degrees with a little bit of clouds in the area, but that will clear up by tomorrow. And tomorrow, look at that, another beautiful day, 72 degrees, partly cloudy skies. We will have a little bit of a wind from the southwest at 11 miles per hour, but nothing to worry about, still gonna be very mild. All right, big 5-day forecast. Thursday, beautiful weather, 72. with a low of 45. And then Friday, even warmer with more sunny skies, 74. Temperatures as a low around 46 degrees. Look at that for the weekend. Saturday, 71 with a low of 53. And for Sunday, another beautiful day, 74 degrees with temperatures dropping to only 59 degrees. Look at that, guys. Very mild this time of year. And then for Monday, we are also going to have really warm temperatures around 75 degrees with a low of 52. So it will stay very mild and warm and dry the whole entire week. And we are doing this new thing. It's our weather photos. If you send us your weather photo on Facebook or Twitter and you tag the picture using the NEWS3 WX pics, your picture does have a chance to be shown online. We'll talk more sports after the break.
Live from Salee Hall in high definition. Live at 4 is back in a moment. Live from Salee Hall in high definition. Live at 4 continues.
Fall sports have been a rarity in 2020 as golf and cross country have been the only sports to play in season. 3 months into the season, the IHSA has not yet scheduled a state cross country final, but several athletic sponsors in Illinois have come together to provide the closest experience possible. It's been over a month since the IHSA's decision to extend golf and cross-country postseason tournaments from regionals to sectionals. With no state cross-country meet scheduled, various track and cross-country sponsors throughout the state have come together to hold an unofficial state race. Given that the race is not an IHSA event, high school teams must compete as clubs and without the instruction of any high school coach.
It's amazing. I mean, we didn't have a state meet, so this is kind of making up for that. I'm not supposed to coach them. I've been showing up and doing temperature checks before they practice, but you know, these kids know what they need to do and they already had a good idea of what they should be doing this week.
It feels great to really see the 4 years of work paying off right now, especially at the end of our senior year. Our mindset is just to have fun and enjoy, just run a fast time. There's really no pressure. Individually, I'd like to place top 25.
For the safety of all runners, the meet will span across 3 days, with 4 separate races for both boys and girls each day. Class 1A affiliated club teams will race on Friday, November 6th, Class 2A on Saturday, and 3A that Sunday. The Macomb boys cross-country team received the invite late last week, and being a team whose top 4 runners are seniors, the opportunity could not be ignored.
I think it feels really good. I'm in an interesting position since I'm usually a soccer player, and so I was able to come out this year finally to try cross-country, so it's been a really amazing opportunity, and I've had a lot of good experiences, and I'm ready to finish the season strong. So.
The Bombers are scheduled to race Friday and will compete under the club name Jetwing. In Macomb, reporting for News 3, I'm Dylan Smith. The WIU women's basketball team is kicking off its practice ahead of the upcoming season. Our RJ Larson talks with the coach about what's expected.
The Western Illinois women's basketball team has begun practice to prepare for their upcoming season. Head coach J.D. Gravina has been able to reconnect with his players, which is something he really missed.
It's been really nice to see my players. I mean, I just straight up miss them. You know, they're a big part of my life. I mean, my life is probably my family number one and my players number two. And I've been really missing out on that aspect of it too. So it's been nice just to be able to talk to them and see them and, you know, give air high fives and everything else.
However, with the COVID-19 pandemic, coaches across the country have had to figure out how to practice safely and efficiently. One precaution for players is wearing masks at practice. Another precaution is players are practicing in small pods. Although it has allowed the players to start practicing, senior Sam Pryor hopes to be able to practice with her whole team again to better prepare for the season.
So, I mean, it's been fun and nice, but my pod only has 5 people. So I would really enjoy practicing with my whole team now. I need to practice with Evan. I need to practice with Grace. I need to practice with Alyssa. I want to get touches with everyone. And I've never played with Mallory. I want to be able to scrimmage with everyone, and I want to be able to see where I stand with everyone. I want to see how everyone works together.
The NCAA announced the college basketball season will begin November 25th back in September. Although the start date has been announced, many questions are still yet to be answered. What will the schedule look like? What will travel be like? What safety protocols will be in place? And will fans be allowed to attend games? For Pryor, She says she would be devastated if fans couldn't be inside Western Hall this season.
And like the fans here are just so awesome. Like they're just like and they're so supportive. Like they would give me their left leg if they could. And so like I really miss like seeing Ed and Sue, and like to think that I could never play in front of them again. Like I know it sounds narcissistic, but it's really not that. Like it's really disappointing for me to think that I could just graduate and like never see them again.
Although it is uncertain what the season will be like, hopefully college basketball will be back soon. In Macomb, reporting for News 3, I'm RJ Larson.
Thanks, RJ. This election, one local man made the effort to bring his own supplies to the ballot box to stay safe. Macomb resident Jim Corder brought his own disposable gloves and pens to make his own vote count as safe as possible. He also ended up biking to the precinct. He says it's what he does every election. Well, that will do it for this episode of News 3. You can keep up to date on all of your local stories on our website at news3wiu.com. I'm Dylan Smith. Thank you for joining us.